Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Dual Threat Podcast, available on the Holy City High Network, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. I am your host, Nappy Nick. I'm here with Ryan Davies. Florida State boys are be taking over today. Sorry we missed you guys last week. AT&T decided to get their fiber line cut and take out a good portion of the country. So, but we are back. We're going to review week 6. I guess a little bit of week 5, probably most of week 6. Get ready for week 7. Give you our best bets. We got a pretty gigantic lineup this week. College football has been pretty much on fire the last few weeks. Even last week was supposed to be a down week. And we're going to get into that. Ryan, welcome back, man. How'd you been?
Can't complain, Too bad about last week, but hey, whatever. Everyone needs a bye, right? So here we are.
Right. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about since the Clemson boys in there. We can actually have an honest conversation about this.
Yeah, those Clemson boys, they're always too one-sided.
Too one-sided, man. They got their opinions and stuff. But game of the week for us, Miami, FSU, primetime, 8:30 game. From most of the game, Miami was pretty much in control of it. Fourth quarter, FSU made a good surge to outscore Miami 21-7. Second half, came up a little short. And then I know I asked you in the pre-show, but what were some quick thoughts about your thoughts on Mike Norvell and going into this game and then the result?
Well, first off, I would really like the rest of the Florida State fan base to lay off the gas that they're pushing right now with the Fire Norvell chants again. I mean, these guys went down 21-7 early, and they fought the entire game. So much so that they almost, aside from special teams play in the second half, almost completely shut down Miami in the third and fourth quarter. They still had fight to them. The offense was still driving. The defense was still trying to make big plays. And I think that says just as much about a coach as anything. If you fall behind and you just have no momentum, that's what your coach is there for, to reinvigorate and get you back into the game, get you back into your confident mode, down or not, and finish the best you can. And, honestly, I think that's what Mike Norvell, that's one of his best traits as a head coach.
Yeah. That's a little more positive part a while ago about I'm gonna go about it. Not bad. Like honestly, like if I'm truthfully asking myself or telling myself this, Miami to me was the better team. They didn't execute better. Like Florida State kind of shot themselves more in the foot than Miami just tried to beat them. But there was just also times where I'm seeing Carson Beck has all day. Like the run game, Florida State stopped. It's like Miami couldn't run the ball. But they didn't need to because I think the offensive coordinator came and said this out in the press conference, like, hey, we're trying to make sure those corners are going to be tested, Mm-hmm. Miami definitely receivers, especially with Tony, I believe.
Number 10. Yeah, he's deadly.
He's a burner, man.
He's deadly.
He's deadly, over top. You got to be ready for him. He can get on you quick. I remember on that post route, he got him the safety too quick. The safety just didn't adjust quick enough because the guy came up fast, and that's how he got open. So that's just what it is.
Safety jumped on a traditional run play, tried to play up in the box on a down that's usually a run down, and bit him in the butt. I don't know if that's coaching so much as just a mental error, but
hey, that's film. I'm pretty sure Miami.
That's film. Yeah, you learn from that.
You learn from it.
Don't bite too early. Don't bite too hard.
But we see for Norvell, I know it's 2 straight losses for Florida State. 0-2 in the ACC. I believe this is their 5th or 6th straight conference loss. Banking back to last year.
Yeah.
But we see you got Pitt. Pitt blew out Boston College last week.
Mm-hmm.
They benched their starting quarterback, put in the backup, and I guess that was worlds of difference. But you also, kind of look back in that game, Boston College didn't have a pulse in any way, shape, or form. They were
No.
just bottle it. So this could be a test for Florida State come to week 7 against Pitt.
And I think those home fans are going to be hungry. They're going to be riled up after last week. I heard there were quite a few nasty incidences involving some Miami fans. So they're going to be loud. They're going to be ready for blood next week, and it's going to be a lot hotter than they expected. I don't know if Pitt's ready for that kind of heat and humidity that's late in the year.
In October.
Yeah, mid-October, and it's going to be about 90 degrees.
God, that's brutal. Are there any other games? I guess. Well, let's talk about the other big one. This pretty much made national news with James Franklin. So, if you haven't heard yet, if you listen to this pod, I'm not paying attention. But Penn State travel over to Los Angeles, California, to go to the Rose Bowl to play UCLA, and in that first half, UCLA showed out. They didn't have a pulse and stuff. Penn State made a rally in the second half, figure some things out. But over UCLA wins outright 42-37. Penn State were 25.5-point favorites. I guess the questions has been getting asked about Penn State. There's always been the question getting asked about Penn State. Well, James Franklin never show up. Now this is a little different because Penn State usually doesn't lose these games. Like the games they lose are the games they're underdogs in, the Ohio States, the Oregons, none of the big dogs, Michigan. Yeah. This is pretty much like Coach said, don't let one loss become two. This is kind of like a prime example of that. You got caught sleeping. You didn't fully recover.
Mm-hmm.
You pull all out on that Oregon game to go to double overtime. You come up short. Go to UCLA. Everybody thinks it's dead. It's just an easy game to overlook. And I'm short. What are your quick thoughts on it, Ryan?
I mean, you pretty much said it all. I really think, UCLA had nothing to lose. They had Penn State coming in to the Rose Bowl. First game coached for the offensive coordinator. Can't remember the young man's name, but 10 years ago, he was the quarterback at UCLA and led an upset on almost the exact same day as he beat Penn State as their interim head coach, which is pretty cool. UCLA they wanted it more. Penn State sluggish, coming off of a loss, kind of a little bit hungover, thinking easy win against a 0-5 team. Got caught with their pants down, man, and they got spanked.
Swing back. Big win. Big response by Nico, too, man. Nico looked good.
Yeah.
Actually,
he did.
It's like, a play caller makes that big of a difference,
Yeah. Absolutely. I do think that was a mismatched coaching fit down in UCLA. It's probably what they needed. I think the players felt it a little bit too. Maybe now they have some energy, with a new outlook on the coaching staff, and maybe they'll get they'll string some wins together. I think they got a couple winnable ones down the line. Maybe not going to a bowl game, but still, pull off a few more wins than you expected.
Hey, man, I mean, they won 4. You only need 5 more.
Yeah.
It's 5 out of 8, pretty much. We see.
Mm-hmm.
That's with like USC, and I haven't seen their full schedule.
Hey, you never know in a rivalry game, man.
You never know. One last game I want to touch on before we move on. Also, another big upset. Well, some people don't think it's upset. Because this a lot of people are picking Florida upset Texas, but Florida 29, Texas 21. Any quick thoughts on Billy Napier somehow just
continuing to hold on to his job? Huh?
His job.
He did it last year. I mean, they started 2-4, I think, and then they finished the season 5-1. maybe that's just how he plays. Maybe he's got to get beat down a couple of times to realize what he's not preparing for before he figures it out. So I don't know. They've got a real tough stretch of games coming up the next few weeks. But they did last year too. I mean, playing LSU, South Carolina, Texas A&M last year, all in a row, and they managed to pull out. Yeah, like I said, 5-1 to finish the last 6 games, or 4-1 to finish the last 5 games. I'm sorry. So who knows? Maybe Swamp's one of the toughest places to play in college football. Maybe they just need a few home field advantages to get them through. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Napier's just a second half of the season guy.
Yeah, I think deserves some. I mean, it's kind of. I can see where people won't give him slack, but it's like Ford has some injuries too, and Lagway wasn't playing great. He looked good that night, so I think it's gonna be a little bit up and down.
Lagway did play much better last week.
Yeah, but just he shoot himself in the foot. Like that's kind of like their defense. As long as you can have ball control, kind of be just a game manager right now at this point. Yeah, it's kind of like this defense keeping your game. You're not gonna put up 40 or 50 points.
No. But they didn't intend for him to be just a game manager. They intended for him to be a powder keg, somebody who helps the offense absolutely explode. He's clearly an athlete. We've seen it before. He has an arm. He has quick delivery, and he can scramble when he needs to. It's just putting it all together is something that he needs to do to help Florida succeed.
Good stuff. And we're still early in this. Well, I won't say early, but like it's still like.
It's not halfway over yet.
Yeah, you're not halfway. Like this is like October, like 5-6 games is kind of where you're going to start figuring out like what you are as a team.
Yeah,
like like Penn State for example, like they only played 2. That's the first 2 Power 4 conference games.
Yeah,
all season. So like this is their reality check of actually seeing real competition.
And some people were saying that is Penn State phony because they're not playing. They haven't played anybody up until their conference. So,
I mean, they're the Big Ten version of Clemson. Clemson guys, hope y'all watching for that.
Yeah, me too. Now, if I do have a comment about the coaches from last week though, between Florida and Texas, my comments on Sarkisian, I think it's more than past time to examine is Arch Manning totally healthy right now. He seems to constantly be making poor grips on the ball. There's a lot of close-up shots of him grimacing on his release. Some of his biggest plays have come on scrambles, and he's not a scrambling quarterback. Maybe rest the guy, or at least get a second opinion and see if there's not a healthier option that you can roll with till he gets 100%.
I mean, it depends what the option is on the depth chart. Let's see if I can take a quick look at this real quick.
Well, you imagine it's Texas, so you'd hope it's somebody good.
So right now, I believe it's Matthew Caldwell, who's a transfer from Troy. Then the 2 behind them are freshmen. So I think that's probably maybe the reason. I mean, you do have he's a senior, so he has experience, but
I think he's a 6th-year senior, actually.
Yeah. So it's tough, but like I don't know. We're gonna get to that game. I want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. We're gonna talk about that. With that being said, let's keep it moving. We're gonna starting with the SEC. We have Alabama traveling up to Columbia, Missouri to take on the Tigers. Alabama is a 3-point favorite. Over under in this game is 52.5. Now, God, I wish I could find this post on my Facebook. But I remember talking to this college football group on Facebook. And I remember kind of going back and forth with this guy when I told him, like, when the SEC schedule dropped, this was in April, the SEC just dropped their schedule. And I was going through the schedules, and I said, don't be surprised if Missouri is a dark horse candidate, because a lot of people was thinking they lost a lot of talent from last year, which they did. But I was like, they also return, and I trust their coach. Drinkwitz, I believe this is his name.
Dirkwitz, yeah.
Dirkwitz. I was like, this they can be sneaky. Like Missouri's always been that team since they've been in the SEC that you don't ever think about.
Yeah.
But like
No, I mean they still don't feel like an SEC team.
yeah, they don't feel like that. I mean, honestly, they feel more like a Big 12 team, truthfully. But like they've been better than Texas A&M has been overall since
Overall,
winning
yeah.
the conference.
Up until recently, you're right. Overall,
Yeah. But
no,
I think
I agree. Missouri, yeah, absolutely lost a lot of talent. Lost Luther Martin, lost Membo, top 10 pick in the draft, like phenomenal left tackle. He's actually one of the highest rated rookies so far this season in the NFL. They lost a lot of talent. They also had one of the best recruiting classes, top 15, I believe, and to supplement it, they had a top 5 transfer portal class. And as we're seeing, that's the new NFL free agency. You know, you restock and reload through the transfer portal, and Missouri clearly hit on some very key players.
So my question to you, as Bama, come off that big win with Georgia, is I think Bama's offense, like Todd Simpson said this in the Florida State game. I was like, he didn't play a bad game in that game.
No.
He just had offensive line didn't block for him. He was facing a lot of heat. Since then, man, he's been on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's coming to Missouri, coming off a big win against Georgia. They did pretty much everything they needed in that game in the first half. Defense, a lot of the defense played second half. Georgia might be fraudulent. We'll keep that question mark there.
Mm-hmm.
But you think this Bama offense is going against not an elite defense with Missouri, but I think pretty underrated. Like, pull their stats right quick. Like, they're right now about 14 points a game, 203 yards, total yards. Run defense is amazing. Now, they haven't faced the athletes that they're about to play coming up in this week going against Alabama. What matchup are you looking for in this game between these two teams?
Outside of Simpson, because right now he's my top X factor for Alabama, but outside of that, I'm looking at the size matchup between Alabama and Missouri. Those wide receivers on Alabama, we're talking guys 6'2", 6'3", 220, 210 pounds, big players, NFL-sized players. A lot of these guys on Missouri, even their linebackers, are very undersized for their position. And when you've got the talent level that you have at Alabama and you try to keep up with them just step for step, you also have to try to match up with them pound for pound somewhere. And Missouri just doesn't have that on their roster. The flip side of that is I'd say Missouri's offense is run way faster than Alabama's is. Alabama's defense is a little slower. We saw that in the Florida State game. They've been known to bite on a few trick plays. And Missouri likes to run a lot of quick, nearly no huddle snap plays, which could wear out the Alabama defense real quick. So right now, size matters first, but speed comes right after that.
Yeah, by far. I also, this Bama's defense been definitely kind of disappointing. I know it's kind of crazy to say coming what Georgia did, even though Georgia offense really wasn't all that great in that game. I just like they have the players, but they don't have the execution.
This isn't the typical secondary that you're used to seeing out of Alabama. This isn't your Minkah Fitzpatrick's or your can't even think of another player off the top of my head right now. But this is a much more vulnerable secondary that Alabama has, and I think Missouri has the capability, the talent, and the speed to take advantage of it. But honestly, Bama's Bama. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach, whether Bama fans want to admit it or not. I think they'll be plenty prepared for whatever Missouri can throw at them.
No, most definitely. We'll keep it moving. I know we got, like I said in the opening, there's a lot of games.
A lot of games
this week. Gonna be pretty fire. But we're gonna switch over to Big Ten. Big Ten has about three heavyweight games this week. This is the first of them. Ohio State, number one team in the country, traveling over to Champaign, Illinois, to take on the Fighting Illini. 14.5 point favorites in this. Overall, there's 49.5. Illinois. Well, here's the thing: is anybody's going to stop this? Have any success against this Ohio State defense? Because they have vastly been the best defense, probably in the country. Like by far,
Indiana.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to see in this match, Brian?
So you mentioned Illinois' defense, and they are very good, but they're very good at stopping plays, not so much interrupting them. And for a freshman, Ohio State's quarterback has done a very good job of staying unrattled. When he does, though, he does start to make a few mistakes. And if Illinois could get the pressure on them, I'm sure they'd be able to make this game close. However, Illinois really has not been able to get a whole lot of pressure on bigger name opponents. They were getting sacks and quarterback hits early when they were playing teams that didn't quite match up. But ever since they've entered Big Ten play, that's slowed down a whole bunch. And Ohio State probably has one of the best offensive lines in the whole conference. So Illinois got their work cut out for them. Stout defense, great secondary, good linebackers that track the ball down. But the one thing they're really missing that could shake Ohio State up, they haven't had in the last couple weeks.
And I think one quick thing to look at with Ohio State is, especially on their offense, like you're not gonna be able to play man against them, not with the receiver or Tate or Jeremiah Smith. Like they're and Julian Sayers has been pretty efficient stuff, deep ball throws and stuff. So like if you're going to play zone on them, they're going just run the ball on you when they can, then pickpocket you, and then if you slip up, they catch you on those one-on-ones on the outside. They got you. Defensively, I think now Luke Altmaier is a very experienced quarterback. I don't think he's gonna have a lot of time to really be able to kind of like either it's gonna have to be like dump offs, a quick check to the hot read or something, because this Ohio State defensive line, I don't think Illinois can block them. They couldn't block Indiana, and you saw how that game went.
Yeah.
So this is essentially a better version of that defense, and their DC. Who's their DC? I'm blanking on it.
At Ohio State.
At Ohio State.
Isn't it Matt Patricia?
Matt Patricia, yeah, it's Matt Patricia. They've been running NFL schemes on their defense, so like they've been disguising the hell out of it. So like, you know, any quarterback that's going against that, you're gonna be like, okay, where I'm looking at, where the pressure's coming from, are they in zone, are they in man, like what read, what checks I need to make. You know, that's a lot of process for any quarterback at the college game, man. Any quarterback, period.
Altmaier still has yet to have a turnover this whole season, and that's a lot to be said. Illinois had a couple of fumbles in the running game, but Altmaier himself has not turned the ball over yet. Now that may change this weekend because, like you said, that offensive line for Illinois is not quite what you need to hold up against an Ohio State defense. But to counter one of your points, you know, you mentioned the Ohio State wide receivers, but there's two of them, and here's the problem: Illinois has a massively talented corner who switches between corner and safety pretty often, in Matt Bailey. But the problem is you only have one Matt Bailey if you're Illinois. You can really only cover one half of the field with him. You can't cover the entire field. And that is where Ohio State's going to take a bit of an advantage. But Bielema's good defensive-minded coach. He has used a lot of 6 DB, 5 DB looks. I'd expect to see a lot more of those this week against Ohio State, trying to null out that deep wide receiver core that Ohio State has and force them to run the ball, or force the freshman quarterback of Ohio State to find an open man in his 3rd, 4th, and 5th reads.
Yeah, most definitely. We have some plays in that game down the road. We're going to keep tradition to another Big Ten matchup. We have Indiana traveling over to Oregon, another Big Ten matchup of some heavyweights. Oregon is a 7-point favorite, over under 55.5. I guess question to you. Well, first I'm not going to do a question. I'm kind of give a statement. Dante Moore might be the best quarterback in college football. He's been pretty much just consistent. Now I know Oregon biggest game was against Penn State defense, and right now how we judge Penn State, we kind of got
a little different than it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I still think that Penn State defense is good. I just don't know what happened to them in that UCLA game. I think they probably just caught off guard because what they were expecting and what happened might have been two different things. Halftime they made adjustments, but in this game, got some high-power offenses you can see right on the screen. Both are averaging over 500 yards a game. Both are over 45 points a game on average. Defensively, both have been pretty dominant. And then in this game, I guess can we see Indiana actually match up? I know Indiana last season did kind of miss all these teams for the most part, except Michigan. Yeah. Now you have to play them. We saw what happened against Notre Dame, but I will say that the QB, what's his name, Fernando?
Yeah.
I'm thinking blanking on his last name right now. I'm acting like Jay. Mendoza. There we go. God, former Cal quarterback, which is sad. That was my my dynasty team in one of my leagues last year, so I should know pretty well. He's actually looking like a pretty good. Like he was getting like a little hype going in the preseason, coming to the season with NFL prospects, and he's been looking even way better. Might even be better than what they were last year at quarterback. So my thoughts to you, Ryan. Yeah. So what's your quick thoughts on this game? These two Big Ten powerhouses going on.
Yeah, you know what? Every instinct that I have is to tell me that Oregon is going to dominate this game. But I've been thinking that for about the last 10 or 12 games Indiana has played in, that they're just finally going to get smacked down, knocked in the teeth, and flat out beat. And I've been proved wrong almost every time. So honestly, I don't know what to expect out of this one. Indiana's traveling out to Eugene. You have two quarterbacks who are playing shockingly similar ball right now, almost identical completion percentages. Both of them only have one turnover on the season. Both of them over 15 touchdowns on the year, I think. And both of them over 1,200, like at about 1,200 yards. They're surprisingly playing very similar ball. On paper, these teams look almost identical. The difference is that Oregon is playing at home, and that stadium in Eugene, Oregon is a difficult place to come into and anticipate a win coming out of. But Indiana's done nothing the last 2 years but surpass expectations. Still, right now, I'm going to give Oregon the benefit of the doubt. I'd take that 7 spread, I think, just because of the fan base and how loud it can get at Eugene.
Yeah, like on the road, I think like Eugene's a hard place to play, man. Like, and you got to kind of factor travel a little bit. Like, Oregon is a little bit out there. That's like a good travel from Indiana. Add in that Indiana didn't look too great against Iowa. This is their last game. Not saying that Iowa's not a bad team, but they're not elite.
They're no slouch. Iowa's known for holding people up. You're on a momentum kick. You land on Iowa, there's a chance Iowa's going to make you look sloppy.
Right.
That's just what they do.
And one circle I will have rough that a game against Illinois, where they beat 63-10. Illinois in that game lost 5 DBs.
Like as we continue to hear about, yes.
Yeah. So you got it's just like not having your 5 best defensive backs is like that defense is, you have to call it completely different. I tell people, like, man, look, defensive end corner, like, it's how you call your defense. You have a lead corner, you can call more blitzes because you got a guy that can shut down their number one. If you have a pass rusher that can get to the quarterback and not give the quarterback any time to process what they're seeing, you can call your defense a lot more aggressive than compared to when you don't. So, like,
I think you've been listening to a lot of Richard Sherman lately.
I mean, hey, man, I played corner in high school, so, like, I'm a little biased with that
All
position.
right. You know what? Richard Sherman the other night made a good argument. I was starting to believe it. So, you could be right. There have been, solid corners that can shut down a whole side. We've seen it.
Yeah, it just it allows you to play, man. This is stuff. So, like, when you don't have 5 of them,
right. And like I said, that goes back to, Illinois' play calling. You have a whole bunch of DBs on the field. You're more likely to lose more of them. But nobody expects to lose 5 in one game.
One game. That's wild stuff. But that's gonna be 3:30, man. I'm gonna have the multi-view on YouTube TV.
I think I'm gonna be right there with you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have the 4-game spread up on my YouTube TV. Getting the best of both of all worlds that I can.
Right. Because at 3:30 at the same time in Dallas, Texas, along with the Texas State Fair, we got the big rivalry, Oklahoma versus Texas. Texas is a 1.5 point favorite. This is one of 2 games where an unranked team is favored over a top 10 team. Keep an eye out on this because pretty much just like an hour ago, I want to say they came out saying that John Mateer might be ready to go for this game, which pretty much they NILs tell them, hey, they get your ass on the field. I don't care what what premise to go. This is like the game. This is the game of the season, regular season.
If you are a Texas Oklahoma fan, this is the game.
This is the game. You gotta show out. Ryan, Arch Manning. I mean, you got Brent Venables probably going to look at that Ohio State film and just like, oh man, I can't wait to eat this guy up, eat him up. What do you think Arch is going to have to do to be able to put up some points against this great Oklahoma defense?
Quick decisions. That's first and foremost what he's going to have to focus on. He had, and especially for him, who has a tendency to hold on to the ball exceptionally long. He's going to have to get out of his own head and rely on his hot routes. Anticipate where he's going to be and make the quick throw. If he can do that, he can avoid that Oklahoma big front 4, let alone those linebackers who have been getting pressure and taking down quarterbacks all year. That's the focus right now. Make sure that you have that ball out of your hands before they can get to you. Even if you don't make the completion, see if you can force a couple of mental mistakes, get a couple of late hits on the quarterback, something. Just get rid of the ball.
I had to fix that right quick. It's glad I caught that. I had the over-under at 57. I was like, that doesn't sound right at all.
No.
Over-under is 42.5. One quick note about this game. So far, Oklahoma, believe I just had it up there too. Their last 6-7 games, the under has hit 7-0 with the under. Yeah, 1, 2,
snap!
6.
Okay,
6 and 7 on the last 8, pretty much. Both, I guess it's probably John Mateer is probably going to be a game day decision. See where they go and how they feel with it. Because honestly, you really can't call that game. I'm not sure how the Oklahoma offense is going to look.
Well, Oklahoma still has a pretty solid run game, and it's not exactly as Michael Hawkins played poorly in his showing. I mean, three touchdowns, 160 yards. No, he wasn't lighting up the downfield or nothing, but he scored when he needed to. But I wasn't going to mention that part. But right now, Oklahoma's riding high. I get it. It's the Red River rivalry. You're 5-0. This is a game you absolutely want to take from your biggest rival. But if it were me and Mateer was not 100% absolute healthy guaranteed, I would be throwing in Hawkins right now. Let the running game carry the offense. See if they can make a few breaks. That defense of Texas has been pretty good, but we've seen that it has not been impenetrable by any means. And Oklahoma's offensive line has done a phenomenal job this year. I put my trust in my big boys up front, hand the ball off, and see if you can get enough push to break off just enough 4, 5, 6 yard runs to keep moving the chains, wear Texas down, and make sure that your defense is rested for when that Texas offense comes onto the field.
Yeah, I think especially the play, like offensively, like if you're looking at this from a betting perspective, the under is the tell 100%. Both these defenses are pretty elite. Texas doesn't have offensive line, at least as far as running the ball.
Or at all.
I don't see Arch sitting back there, and Brent Venom was definitely not just going to allow him to pick his defense. He's going to bring pressure.
No, he's going to be coming. He's going to be coming.
So, hot reading screens kind of like make them back off a little bit. That's going to be your bread and butter for the most part. But if I'm playing this from a betting perspective, the under all day. 42.5.
That's another reason why I said, play the run game if you're Oklahoma. If you're going to be blitzing, that's high motor for your front seven there. You get tired blitzing constantly, but the more you can control the ball, run that clock down, and let them rest over on the sidelines, the more likely you can come back out when Texas has the ball in their hands and just pummel that O-line with blitzes.
And I will say, Mateer is really going to be the difference maker. I know it's easy to say for a quarterback, but it's like if he's in there, and if he's 75%, it gives Oklahoma some form of a passing game against this Texas defense, because Texas is pretty sure going to run the ball, and his mobileness is going to and also his familiarity with this offensive system, with his OC coming over with him from Washington State. Yeah. No, I think Texas Oklahoma is going to be interesting. Texas dropping out of the AP poll the fastest I ever. I think they just broke the record. Fastest preseason number one to drop out of the poll.
Oh, that's not a record you want.
Right. I think the record before was they did it in 5 weeks. I think before that was Southern Cal. That was that Matt Barkley team. It took them 12 weeks. So that's see if you can bounce back, Texas. Like, I don't want to write you out, but you can't afford another loss. That's stuff. If you want to contend for a playoff spot right now. All right. Speaking of, let's move on back over to the Big Ten. Big showdown of probably two teams trying to figure out who's the fourth best team in the Big Ten. This game will help decide that. You got Michigan going out to LA to take on the Trojans. Southern Cal is 2.5-point favorite in this. Over-unders 57.5. Ryan, you think who needs this game more, honestly, to kind of reconfirm who they are and their position of what their goals are for the rest of the season?
Southern California definitely needs this game more. Not just to really drive home that they can compete or at least approach a playoff spot this year, having started the season unranked, but also just to show that Lincoln Riley belongs there, because it has been a tough start for Lincoln Riley at Southern Cal after it seemed, a breeze with him coaching out in Oklahoma. I think that's part of the reason that they're only favored so little over against what seems to be an evenly matched Michigan squad at home, is that there's still some doubt about who USC really is and if Lincoln Riley is the right coach for them. And Michigan, we know rookie quarterback or freshman quarterback, I should say, pretty much brand new coach, still filling it out up at Michigan. They have a little more leeway. They have a little more trust from the pollsters and the voters and the rest of college football. So Southern Cal really needs a statement win, especially second year in the Big Ten. A lot of people are saying it's looking more and more like you don't belong, while Oregon is pummeling powerhouses. I definitely say that the Trojans need this win right now more than Michigan does.
I definitely concur with that. Pretty much this is what you're making the money for to win these kind of games. Michigan defense is formidable, but they're not like the most elite defense compared to like their championship defense or even last year's defense. But they will make plays. They're going to keep it low score. Michigan's going to try to run the ball. I do think Bryce Underwood is going to be the difference maker in this game. As he gets more confidence and adjusts to play at the college level as he get more games. It's not like Southern Cal's defense is elite. I feel like Nebraska's defense or even, definitely Oklahoma's defense were way better defenses than Southern Cal. So, if you get the run game running and do some rollout pass, like either boot, play action boot, or like design QB runs, Bryce.
Yeah. Get Underwood mobile. Yeah. Use his skill. Yeah.
Use his skill set. You don't need him to throw for 300 yards, obviously.
No.
If you can get 185 on smart and like second, third down conversions, then add in like 6 or 7 on the ground. Or if he pops a big play, just being the athletic freak that he is, that's going to be the difference maker for Michigan. I guess a follow-up question with this is if Michigan kind of can win this game, do you perceive them as a legitimate playoff threat?
If Michigan wins this game, yeah, I'm still thinking that they have a shot at the playoffs. There's still some balls up in the air as far as some of these teams that are ranked ahead of them. Your Texas Techs, your I guess Iowa State's not there anymore, but your Missouri, there's a few teams there that you're still having questions about that are over you. And a signature win against a blue chip program like Southern Cal in their own stadium, that just pushes your meter further up at the end of the year, where we're trying to decide which of these 10-2 teams deserves most to be in there. And that actually kind of goes back to what I was saying between who needs this game more. If you were looking side by side at a 10-2 Michigan team and a 10-2 Southern Cal team, I think 9 out of 10 times anybody you would ask would pick Michigan just based on who they've been the last couple of years, rather than Southern Cal, who you still might not be sure about. So Michigan gets the benefit of the doubt, but this win is just going to help.
Yeah, by far. And the remaining schedule, we'll have it on the screen. There's no reason why you can't win all of them till you get to Ohio State from now until Ohio State. I think
and even then, man, that's the big one. There's no telling who's going to come away with a win in that one. Doesn't matter what the record is.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. That game at home. Momentum. That is one of those games that is no predictability.
Stuff. And on the contrast, Southern Cal, if you want to add to the resume, this is a big one because you got Notre Dame next week. You still got Oregon on the stuff, and all those are road games. So, you got to handle your business at home when the opportunity presents itself.
Absolutely, yeah. Every time you get a chance, win at home.
Got to win at home. No offense, buts. All right, I'm going to take it back to the SEC. Got to show love to my fellow Gamecocks out there. South Florida coming off a bye week last week. About to travel over to Baton Rouge. Take on the LSU Tigers. Preseason. This was pretty much highlighted as one of the biggest games for the conference slate for the whole season. A couple losses have taken both teams a little step back. It'll still be a pretty good game. The question, I guess, would be asked is, who's going to score?
And how?
And how? Because both offenses, I want to see if I pull this out. I believe against Power 4 competition, LSU has scored over 20 once.
Either way, it ain't been pretty for
Yeah.
either of these teams. These are two teams that started top 10, or I think maybe South Carolina was 11 starting the season, and both expected to have between Nussmeier and Sellers. At this point, we were thinking like winner of this might get the Heisman Trophy
Right.
before the season started. Now we're thinking, well, which one of these guys is going to complete 2 passes in a row?
I think now I will say LSU has the better defense. So, if first of all, if you're going to take it, the under, I think it's probably the move in this game. I see it definitely like a 2017 type game, as LSU has scored only 20 and under against all Power 4 opponents. I think the difference maker is Lenore Sellers, but I think the problem with Lenore Sellers is, can he develop a passing game? Can Nick Harbor be this 5-star athlete he's supposed to be and take over a game? Can they get the run game going? South Carolina's offensive line, LSU's offensive line. Really, that's really what this game's going to come down to. Which offensive line is actually going to step up? I think overall talent, you got Harold Perkins, big transfer, Patrick. I'm blanking on his name. Patrick Payton, transfer from Florida State on the defensive line. Pretty solid. I think LSU runs the ball definitely a lot better, but I think Lenore Sellers can be the difference maker if South Carolina wants to have a shot of getting this big upset. I think I lost Ryan on that and stuff. To play, till Ryan gets back, make sure I got an invite for him in the group chat. But I believe Dylan Stewart could be a difference maker in this game. Can you get past the pass rush? Sorry, guys. Trying to talk to Ryan right now. Make sure he's all good. The link still should work. But with that said, I'm gonna not end the show. I'm gonna highlight a few other games we'll cover. Let's bring them up. So this whole slate, when I made this list, there's like 6 games that came down to it, but there's probably another 6 go. It's a big rivalry, but as far you have Georgia and Auburn. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Pull this up. There we go. Georgia Auburn. This is 2 decent defenses going at it. Can Georgia rebound coming off a loss to Alabama at home? You're traveling on the road to Auburn. This is a big rivalry between good old-fashioned hate. Is there any chance that Auburn can figure out their offense and go against this Georgia's defense? Even with Alabama put up 22 last week, it wasn't like it was it was all in the first half. Kind of like that game been the last 2 years. Then their defense kind of like kept them in it. Georgia did get a win over Kentucky. Sorry, that was 2 weeks ago. But they beat Kentucky 35-14. Kentucky's pretty limited on offense. So, they pretty much just handled their business. Auburn's come off 2 straight losses to pretty good defenses in one-score games. On the road, Texas A&M. On the road, Oklahoma. We go back to Auburn, Jordan Hare Stadium to get the Welcome the Dogs in, kind of get, the home crowd in it. Everybody's going to be liquor up, barking the dogs, War Eagle. That's all you're going to be hearing in that game, man. So that's a game to highlight. Another game to highlight, Florida, Texas A&M, SEC at Big Ten, and they are loaded with these games this weekend. Get this off here if I can. Florida, Texas A&M. Florida riding high, coming off a big upset win over Texas. Now you got to go over to the state of Texas to take on the Aggies. Can you go 2-0 against the state of Texas this week? We're about to find out. Marcel Reed has promised himself to be a better passer. So far, he has looked good. Texas A&M's number 5 in the country right now. Can they keep that momentum right now? I think it's 50-50. Some chance. Texas A&M's defense is pretty solid. Mike Elko took over the defensive play call duties. That was his bread and butter when he was at Duke. I think, can you trust DJ Lagway on the road? Like, Florida still's been pretty limited on offense, and then they put 29 points. 17 of those were in the first half of the game. I think that's the Ryan leaving. All right. Well, we'll keep it moving. Other games to check out if you're interested in some of these I'm going to bet for. Arizona State at Utah. South Florida, North Texas. That's kind of a big group of 5 playoff matchup. I'm going to have a bet on that game too. East Carolina at Tulane, another American Conference. I think the American Conference pretty much is going to be the conference that's going to probably get the group of 5 playoff spot if they don't self-sabotage each other. JMU is still in the running with that. Sunbelt, potentially. Boise in the Mountain West still has. I don't know if that loss to Notre Dame is going to help them any. Those are big 3. But those are like the big 4 or 5. I would say games to kind of check out besides the games we covered for.
Ability shortcuts.
Right there. There you go.
Select.
I'm here.
Voiceover. Select cancel. Cancel button.
So I definitely just got hacked midstream there.
Oh, what?
Yeah, somebody tried to log in. So I do this through my messenger. Somebody definitely logged in on my Facebook Messenger while we were doing this.
Oh man, that's wild.
Cancel button. Select.
Oh.
Select.
All right, guys, change your passwords. This is a footnote
Cancel button.
for everybody that's watching this.
What were we talking about?
All right. Well, I went and gave a couple of other games to keep eyes on besides the 6 we covered. We're talking South Carolina LSU before you went off. But is there any other games you want to kind of chime in on besides the 6 we covered?
Yes. Let me get back to oh, shit. Well, I would love to. Unfortunately, I can't access my notes right now because I'm on my phone.
Yeah. Well, let me give you kind of pick them. So the games I said, pretty much, there's like 5 of them. Georgia Auburn, big,
good game.
Absolutely. Old-fashioned hate. Florida at Texas A&M. Arizona State at Utah. 2 big group of 5 games. I'm pretty confident that the group of 5 playoff representative more often than not is going to come from the American. 2 of these games are going to help decide that. South Florida at North Texas.
That was definitely one I would have wanted to talk about. Yeah,
And East Carolina at Tulane.
Tulane should run away with that pretty easily.
I think ECU has a pretty good offense.
I mean, they do, but I don't know if they've got one good enough to hold up against Tulane.
Fair point. And I believe that's it. Make sure. I feel like actually I'll take that back. I know I did say Arizona State, Utah. Okay. But also I kind of went in on them, so you can cover. But we're going. Go ahead, Ren. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, if there is one more game I think we should pay attention to, it's the BYU-Colorado game. BYU's got a lot of momentum right now. They're definitely pushing for Big 12 championship realm. So is Arizona, but Colorado is an interesting opponent for BYU. BYU plays real small ball, and Colorado we know is used to being big, flashy, and bombastic. Yeah, I think those are going to be 2 completely clashing personalities between football programs. and it'll be interesting to see who's comes out on top, especially with, like I said, BYU is definitely able to look ahead right now and say we can compete for the Big 12 championship, but Colorado could upset that.
So Ryan, just a little bit might be mixing up. Oh, there's the one we game 1C2. I just saw it. Colorado's playing Iowa State.
Iowa State. You're right. Iowa State.
Arizona's playing BYU.
BYU. Okay.
BYU's
Iowa
going
State, Colorado. That's who I meant.
No, 4. Arizona, BYU though, so they're both 4-1. Even though I think Arizona's schedule is a little more of a cakewalk than BYU's were. But the other game I just saw too, I thought I wrote. I guess I didn't. Nebraska and Maryland. Maryland, I don't know what the hell they did in the fourth quarter in that game against Washington last week, but just a couple turnovers, a couple bad defense allowed Washington to get back in that game and take it outright. But now they welcome Nebraska over in the College Park. We see if Malik Washington can keep it hot and keep it going. Like I said, I've been a big fan of his all season. I'm gonna keep rolling. He's a true freshman. We see if Nebraska can get the 5-1 over in College Park and see if they can kind of make some noises, maybe being that fourth or fifth Big Ten team.
Hey, if they do, that'll be the best start they've had in a long time.
Long time, yeah, probably since
maybe since 09
or 09, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think maybe since Bo Pelini,
yeah. 4. Nebraska coming off a 38-27 win against Michigan State. Like I said, Maryland's come off a 20-24 loss against Washington. I think the best bet in this game too is probably be the under. Let me see what the under is before I actually say that. 40.5. Yeah, so I thought that's a safe bet. 20-24. Definitely can get there.
That's an interesting matchup between Nebraska and Maryland, man, because those are two teams that we probably wouldn't have counted as 4-1 at this point in the season, let alone both of them being 4-1 when they faced each other. I think they deserve, like you pointed out with Maryland, a little more extra observation to see, are these two upstarts that could upset the potential Big Ten championship landscape. So it'll be fun to watch them play each other.
Most definitely. All right, but we're gonna switch over to best bets. I know we're approaching the hour on the screen, so I'm gonna get this in, not to over stuff. Let me see if I can get it off the screen. Ryan, I'm gonna let you have first dibs at it. Put your bets on the board and have at it.
Oh, yeah. All right. San Diego State, they're coming off of a string of big wins. A couple of teams that they weren't really anticipated to beat, whereas Nevada, they've been ugly this year. And honestly, 7.5, that seems easy. San Diego State just put up, I think, 48 last week. Covering 7.5 over Nevada should be no problem for them. I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, but look, I've got Underwood as my X factor in this game coming up in L.A. in the Rose Bowl. I think you pull off a few run pass situations on a bootleg the right amount of times, you're going to score big. And Southern Cal, I just don't see covering it. Sorry, I got Michigan with the upset, I suppose.
Let's go.
Navy's offense has looked for the opponents they're playing. Their offense has looked spectacular, high octane, hard to stay up against. Temple's miserable. I'd expect Navy maybe to even score 18, win by a margin of 18 in this one. I noticed you got Wake Forest over Ohio State instead of Oregon State.
Yeah, that was a typo.
Wake Forest traveling all the way out to, I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. Corvallis, thank you. Beavers are still winless, and I hate to say it, I think that continues. I don't necessarily think Wake Forest is anything special, but they're definitely good enough to beat Oregon State right now. And Last one is the one I tried to mention if I hadn't flubbed it up, but is Iowa State over Colorado. Got a unexpected upset last week, or at least I'd say it was an upset. And now they got to come in charging, showing that they're still Big 12 championship contenders. And like I said, they play small ball, they play it safe. Not a whole lot of big, flashy plays under Matt Campbell's offense, just hard defense and hard running. And Colorado, we know what they're about. We know Dion. He loves his flash. He loves his extra. Well, we'll see which one of these two can come out on top, but I'm betting on Iowa State and Matt Campbell.
All right. Those are Ryan's best bets. Let me transition to Jacobs before I go. All right. Jacobs off there. Matt didn't send his in, so Matt doesn't get one. Jacobs week 7's best bets. His UCLA against Michigan State. He said the offense looks a lot better, so he believed the games would be a lot more competitive than initially thought, especially with UCLA coming off the big win over Penn State. He has Alabama -3 over Missouri. He has Oklahoma +1 against Texas. At that point, you should have just took the money line. Hawaii -1.
Same with the next one, yeah.
Yeah, all the next 3, really.
This is about betting, Jacoby, not wins. It's about betting.
Yeah, right. Let me double check that BYU. That doesn't seem right. Make sure I didn't type that.
I don't think so. 2.5 maybe.
Nah, it is 1.5. I guess I opened that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He loves his winner go home, I guess.
Winner go home, man. So BYU on the road against Arizona, Hawaii -1 and Utah State. This is a Hawaii pod, so all my Rainbow Warriors out there that's watching over 6 time zones away, got love for you, most definitely. Staff, send a free flight for the staff. We definitely come do a pod out there.
We're only absolutely.
Like absolutely live game, whatever. We make something happen. All right, we're gonna go to the next best bets. Week 7, 5 picks. I got ECU +7 against Tulane. I know Ryan was trying to say that, but I think that ECU offense is pretty good. Defense, I won't say too much about, but their offense, I think they can put up some points against Tulane if they just follow the script that Duke did. Maryland +6.5 versus Nebraska. I'm a Malik Washington fan, so
hey, both teams are hot right now, man. Both teams are hot. But yeah, true freshman quarterback. He's been tearing it up so far.
Let's show him out. North Texas money line against I guess I ain't right the other teams. They're playing South Florida. I think that's like I said earlier, that's a college football elimination game for the group of 5, G5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much. Missouri, I'm fighting Jacob on the Missouri-Alabama game. I'm taking Missouri 3.5.
We got to fine him for not filling out all of his bets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Wake Forest, I'm on with Ryan, traveling over to Oregon State. Wake made me a lot of money last week because they were underdogs. Virginia Tech was a 6-point favorite against Wake Forest last week. And I was like, there's no way Virginia Tech has done anything this season deserve to be a 6-point favorite.
6.5-point favorite. No.
Yeah. And I was hoping I can get plus money on this. I was hoping some idiot will allow Wake Forest to be the underdog.
I'm telling you, somebody got fired at MGM last week.
Yeah, most definitely. A group of people.
You let Virginia Tech have what?
What? Come on, man. I'm like, look, and this is not like we hate Virginia Tech. Like we have the bar.
We're not hating. You just been real bad this year.
It's been real bad. And I know my buddies at the Brick downtown in Charleston. That's one of my favorite bars. I know them boys. That's a Virginia Tech bar. And I know they hurting. They got Philly. No, Philly's coming off a loss as Eagles fans, but the Virginia Tech side of it, they're hurting a little bit and stuff. Are there any other bets you have besides the plays that you listed that can come across your mind, maybe?
Not ones that haven't been touched on. I really did like that North Texas, South Florida matchup. I'm not talking to you, Siri. I haven't figured out how to take off the blind person thing yet. Yeah, I accidentally turned it on. I don't know how to turn it off. North Texas, South Florida, that's a fantastic game. I'd honestly go with South Florida in that one. They played much higher competition than North Florida has, but hey, North Texas is still undefeated. So no count on that one. And Missouri, Alabama. Now, like I said, nothing really we haven't touched up on.
All right, that's fair enough. And North Texas, yeah, their schedule is definitely softer. Like, but 59-10 to Washington State. That was the color. Go ahead.
I changed my mind real quick. All right, for I like my sneaky lower tier bets here. Kent State over UMass. I believe it's at 4.5. Kent State had
you get me at 2.5 right now.
It's 2.5, even better. Yeah, I'll take that all day. Kent State, I honestly almost expected to go winless until last week. They showed up out of nowhere and scored like 42 points, I think. And so coming back at home, you're riding high. I'll take Kent State.
But Kent State's been getting checked because if you saw their non-conference and who they had to play,
yeah,
they got Oklahoma, Florida State, and Texas Tech.
Right? Yeah.
That's a rough. Them boys is like, hey, we're just trying to get some money.
Hey, they're battle tested, baby. They're ready for the Minutemen.
They're ready to go. As we got UMass getting blown out by losing to FCS Bryant.
Oh, UConn was 2 weeks ago. My bad.
Yeah, UConn a couple weeks ago, but they played Western Michigan last week. They lost 3-21. So it's that's a if you're watching that game, then more props to you guys. You are some diehards. I'm just double checking down the score.
Those are the real fans. Those are the real fans right there.
There's not a game I might have missed that might have been appealing. Who thought TCU Kansas State was supposed to be one of the bigger Big 12 games preseason?
We would have thought, yeah.
Well,
we absolutely would have thought. Instead, you know what? If I'm watching football right now and I'm watching one of the two Kansas, though, I'm watching the Jayhawks at the moment. And I think they got Cincinnati this week.
No, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All offense right there, baby. There's going to be no defense in that one.
No, there'll be some. Texas Tech defensive line is actually pretty nasty.
Yeah, but hey, come on, give Daniel some credit. He's a crafty quarterback. He can beat you both ways. His arms or his legs.
Okay. I feel confident that'd be a blowout, but I could be wrong. A little side bet on that. All right. But with that being said, I think that's about all we could do. This is the best bets segment. Please check it out. Stuff. I think I posted on my story. It was 15-13 over the weekend since we have any bets from last week. With that being said, we'll be here every Tuesday, 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:15. You know, we don't black people time. But with that being said, that's Ryan Davies. I'm Nappy Nick. Please check us out on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live, please subscribe. If you listen to us on the podcast later down the road, please give us a follow and a like. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. This is the Dual Threat Podcast. I am your host, Nappy Nick. Love to see you next time. Enjoy some good week of Week 7 football. Also, quick note, there's MAC action, or maybe Conference USA action on Wednesdays for the remaining season. So essentially, we're going to have football 7 days a week. Missouri State versus Middle Tennessee.
Conference USA, absolutely. Hey, I'm going for the Bears, baby.
I'm going for the Bears.
The Grizz.
I'm backing that win to Missouri State, man. With that being said, we are out, you guys. I love you.